Make sure that we develop your top value, Iman, and so on. You develop in a realistic sense. How can I really use this? And remember, when me and Melissa and so on, we teach you some course for a college program, mechanic customs and corrections, and we tell people, like, now as soon as you can resist, it's a whole lot harder. It's not so easy when you're not resisting. Okay. So you gotta make sure that your technique is up to par. You know, people say, well, how hard do you hit them? How hard do you hit them?
Stop.
As hard as you can.
Yeah.
You want to go home and do them on. Okay, or in the prison, somebody is shaking. Hard as you can. And right there. That's not abuse. Why would you want us? Okay, to make sure it counts. So you can use anything. I'm walking down the street, I tell them I'm in the self-defense program. Feel uncomfortable. Long quick. What's that mean? Yeah, I swing that blade. It's not gonna do anything. But they have a blade, and I got nowhere to go. And I got that much reach, and I shove it right in your eyes. Then I learn to utilize whatever's around you and make it work for your life. Okay? Please, that's it.
Okay. It means a lot. But I noticed that everybody after the study was in their dress clothes walking around with the Yeah, what the whole thing is about, you're talking about is anything can become a weapon. Okay, and you got to think of that. And a lot of it is just common sense. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of common sense out there. Little things. I mean, I don't have time people, you do it, and they try to make it harder than what it is. And little things like that, like you're saying, you got a belt or women pocketbook or whatnot. The main thing you want to do is be aware. Don't be paranoid, but be cautious. Especially depending on where you live. I live up in the North Jersey area, New York, whatnot, and you don't know. And what's going on today, people are walking down the street and some wacko just starts to hit you. That can happen to anybody. But you got to learn to be aware. My wife can get upset with me because I go to a restaurant or something like that, and I always sit in a certain place because I want to be aware. Where am I at? Where the things is? And who's in the place? And so when you get paranoid, no, I'm being cautious. I just want to know where I'm at. And where is that from? I did some of my martial arts training over the years. But you got to think about it all the time. And don't make a big deal out of it, just do it. So what Master Chief did was like the Marines got together and they started doing the basics. I don't have any, if you guys all do the basics, the 15 uppers, and I learned the 15 uppers and didn't go to kick. It was kind of like a little boring, but it's basic. It is a foundation. Anybody who's in the building trade understands that if you don't have a good foundation, no matter how you build your house, it's going to collapse if you don't use your basics. And I use a perfect example. Back in the early 80s, I was in my 20s, and I decided this is boring. I'm going to combine it. So I combined the doctors from 15 to 5, and I lost some. I didn't know what it was, but that's what I was teaching my students, just basics, just a simple basic, and then of course we got to fight, more so fighting than doctor. And in the old days, doctor wasn't important, basic wasn't important. If you went to the Master Naval Dojo, you better expect to be fighting a couple hours. That's the way it is. I'm fighting. We evolved to that. So now I'm doing it, I lost something. I go to Okinawa and we line up in the dojo and we start doing the basics. And that feeling that I hadn't had for a while came back. And I said, as simple as something like that, it affected me. And I went back and I said to my students, we're going back to the basics. I'm going to stick to it because we have to have a good foundation. From the stances, you know, that you become natural. You know, when you first get a new student, you're trying to teach him how far your feet should be apart. When you get a guy that's 6'4" and he looks like he's this big to the little kid, and you got to learn to adjust to your body size. Because does everybody know how far your feet should be apart? Does anybody teach you the system? That's tough for me to learn, old on it. But if we used to do it here, you take your knee down, reach your fist. Stand straight up, and that's how far your feet should be apart. Either here or here. No matter what you do, you get in that position. Body mechanics and muscle memory will put you in that position. Why do we do katas and whatnot and do some of the simple basic katas? And if people don't understand, in Ishinru, all our katas are advanced katas. They're like our katas. I don't know how many times I walk in, I'll see Dennis Ward, who's one of Master Nagel's, the guy that left, Master Nagel left the dojo to. He would perform in kata and he'd be doing seisai. And I'd get some students that say, Sensei, why is that black belt doing seisai? It's a white belt kata. No, it's not. It's an advanced kata. It's simple and basic, but it's probably more practical than any other kata if you really think about it. And I don't know about you, what was the hardest kata to learn? Seisai. You know, it was difficult. Then of course you got into it, and of course we got into Shinto and Sun Tzu, and you know, it's just a simple basic. So what I try to do is when you think, so I want everybody just to see how far should the feet be apart. So I want you to separate it, bend your knee, put it next to your foot, put your fist between. Yeah, the old guys. Well, some adjustments, yes. Remember,
Had St. Dutch just put it here because the stance was deeper. Here you just go down. I can't do that now. This thing is in I'm standing up. I saw you limping a little bit.
and the average over now is 5 foot on
Right there,
the small people. So,
That's
and
the
what is it?
anterior
yeah.
When after the war, the Marines started going in and flying on the island over now, we don't have people this big. Now we got people this big. And they had to learn also this stuff. We have, as being in North
So
America,
annoying.
we have the opportunity to train this size person to this size person. And we learn to adapt. But when you're just around a bunch of people about the same size, you're limited to what you really learn. That's why the Marines came back and should have said, the soldiers came back, we just went on Marine, came back and we started to develop an Ishinru to me. I think everybody who studies martial arts study Ishinru. Not because of the name, because of what it meant. One heart, all heart. I understand that Master Shimabu can see somebody working out and point to him and say, Ishinru man. Because you put your heart into it. Okay? And eventually that's the name he adopted. Who can tell me, and you shut up. Who can tell me the year that Master Shimabu named Ishinru? Not you! I want something huge. Nobody, come on.
56.
Okay, what day?
January 15th.
Okay, January 15th, 1956. Now, there's a question. I know I talked to Sensei Regular. He calls it an anniversary of the day they named it. Some people call it a birthday. I call it both. It is an anniversary, but at the same token, it's like you have a child, 9 months in the belly comes out, the day that baby's born, it's the birthday. But in the Asian world, it's not. I think it's a year later.
1 year older than you.
That's right. You know, because I know my sister-in-law who's Korean is younger than my brother, her husband, but she always says she's older because she was, you know, she was a year old or whatever the thing. So that's where the confusion you get. But a lot of people don't know the history, and it's simple, basic knowledge. And that's what this program is just talking about, basic. Where do you strike? Where do you hold your hands? You know, how high? Some people put the obi, they put it up here. Some people have the obi because the big is down on the belly. You You know, where do they put their hands? Well, normally the bottom finger goes to the hip height, you know? And again, everything we talked about, why the natural motion, why the Jim Fu has a vertical fist versus a reverse punch. Which is better? Who can tell me which is better, vertical fist or twisted punch? And if everybody says the vertical fist or the twisted punch, I'll hit you with both of them, so you tell me.